You gotta have something to work.
Mm. Okay, I said, see that in the railroad tank.
Miss Ellen Montgomery's gonna offer our prayer tonight. Let us pray. Holy Father, we do bless your name. We give you all the praise, all the honor, and all the glory. And we bless you for this meeting this afternoon. Holy Spirit, we invite your presence in here today. We pray that everything will be done decent and in order. And we pray, Father God, that whatever is presented for consideration will be taken to heart, prayed over, and allow you to work through it. So we just bless you for everybody that's here. We give you glory, honor, and praise for a successful and a productive meeting in Jesus' name. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bryan.
Here.
Councilmember Hampton. Here. Councilmember Woodhull. Vice Mayor Landry.
Here.
Mayor Kitchen.
Have a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda. Read by title only. Motion. Have a second. Ready. Second.
Councilmember Bryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Hampton. Vice Mayor Landry.
Yes. Okay, at this time, if you are here and would like to speak to the council and you're not on the agenda, you're welcome to come to the podium and state your name and your address and whatever you have to report. If you're on the agenda, we'll come at the proper time. Still no one, I'll move on. Do we have any bids or RFQs to present tonight?
Yes, I need to add one of them. We have an RFQ or so say RFQ for engineering. And we have 2 bids for the Warner Lift Station construction. I'll do the Warner Lift Station first. Currently, I'm opening the sealed bids for Warner Lift Station improvements. I'll only be reading out the vendor and amount of the bid. There will be no discussion at this time about any bids that is being opened. These bids will be given back to the purchasing agent, then to the department which the sealed bid is for. The city reserves the right to reject any and all bids. The city reserves the right to select the bidder, waive any informalities, or to accept the bid deemed to be in the best interest of the city. Any errors in bid submissions are the responsibility of the bidder. First one is for RPI Underground Heat. A lot of pages. You know, that was it. The lift station's $1,098,084. The odor control system is $264,123.68. Second one is Royal American Construction. Warner Lift Station, $1,319,063. The odor control system was $313,963.
Come on. $200,000.
The second, RFQ. Currently, I'm opening up the sealed RFQs for CDBG DR engineering services. I'll only be reading out the vendor. There will be no discussion at the time about the RFQ that is being opened. This RFQ will be given back to the purchasing agent and then to the department for which the RFQ is for. City reserves the right to reject any and all RFQ. The city reserves the right to select the firm, waiving the informality or accept this RFQ deemed to be in the best interest of the city. Any errors in submissions are the responsibility of the respondent. There was only one, y'all remember right, we had to redo this because there was only one the first time. And Florida Commerce wanted us to put it back out for bid. We got the same one back from our Dura, which they reached a really good.
Got the same one back? Okay.
If you are in agreement, I would say let's move forward with the one selected so we can get started on these projects. Since we don't need to start have to rank them like we did with the 8 grant admin.
And all of these funds will come from green. Great.
This is specifically for the CDBG DR. It's the 3 projects totaling 25 million, I think, or 24 and a half. But if somebody make a motion to move forward with our Dura as engineer for these 3 projects and get started with get a contract together.
Motion.
Yeah, that's second. What's the motion?
To enter
Contact them?
to enter contract negotiations with Ardura for the CDBG DR engineering services.
Councilman Grimes,
Yes.
Councilman Hampton.
Yes.
Councilman Woodball, Vice Mayor Landry,
Yes.
Mayor Kitchen.
All right, we'll move on. Item 6A, Bob Kate to present the TCDA update and the council to take any action deemed necessary. Thank you.
What I'd like to do is continuation of what we began over 20 months ago when I committed I would never let y'all go without knowing what we're working on at TCDA by providing routine quarterly updates. And I want to do that tonight. As always, this is an interaction and not just a presentation. If you have questions, feel free to stop me and ask or wait till the end. If any input or advice, I always welcome.
Help in here.
Great. We can't hear. Can we turn the mic up a little bit?
Probably have to speak more directly into it. It's not a universal.
Okay. Tell my wife that I don't talk loud. Hello?
You probably just have to speak more directly.
Okay, I will. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Quarterly update, and I'm about to give it. Please feel free to ask questions or share any insight you have. First, I just don't ever want the city council to be in the dark about what we're doing, what we're working on, and where we're focused. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through my next slide, the agenda, and tell you what we're gonna talk about, and then we'll talk about it then and make it happen. You're not being on the Select USA meeting that I was at in Washington last week, and give you an overview of our on those submissions, and you all have been actively involved with that. I'm gonna cover some relevant projects. We had a meeting today from the Board of Commerce charge of.
That was a. So shit, well, hopefully it's still.
I mean, you can
Okay,
on the Zoom call.
The engineering firm probably got them involved.
technology,
Actually, I called it.
we can find out what they're thinking about you. As I was saying, EJ Guevara was here today, and it was Florida person at Florida Commerce that's in charge of rural economic development for existing businesses, helping them to grow and prosper. So he spent 3 days with us in September and spent all day with us today. I'll tell you about that visit. I want to give you an update on the TCDA director replacement. And then if we can make technology work at the end, we're going to look at our city of Perry or city of Perry property and show you the flyby. As I get started on Select USA today, I want to really recognize a group of ladies from our church, Evangel Christian Fellowship. They gather daily while I was in Washington to pray for me and to pray for Taylor County. Wonderful. So you're going to hear how. So there were 5,500 attendees at a conference that I didn't know existed 1 year ago. This is when I told you a quarter ago, I got invited to go to Select USA and got to be part of the Florida delegation. All 50 states were represented. 5 territories are represented. There were 2,700 international delegates. These are people from foreign nations coming to find out about how to do business or bring business to the USA. There were 1,100 economic development organization representatives. As you can imagine, Taylor County was not alone. But as I come down, you're going to drill in and see really how this played out. There were over 100 countries there that had companies there looking to invest in the USA. They also, for the first time, had and this is why I think I got invited, had an Invest in Rural America initiative. So this conference has been going on for 15 years. It started under President Obama and has continued ever since. But this was the first year they had a special focus on investing in rural America. And so there were only 31 first-time rural and tribal economic development organizations represented. TCDA was one of them. There were only 2 from Florida, 1 from Georgia. So we were in a pretty rarefied group. Let's look at the next slide. So we were open. I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview. This isn't just a report card report, but it's some highlights. It turned out to be something I think Taylor County would always want to be involved in and invested in. So it was opened by the Secretary of Commerce, who said Select USA is the front door for foreign investment in the United States. It's not about getting companies to come. It's about helping them to be profitable long term. You know, that's a bit of a paradigm shift for me. I know we want them to come and be profitable, but you've heard me talk 6 times and say, just get them to come, just get them to come. The way we're going to get them to come is show them that if you come to Taylor County, you can be profitable. We have the people, we have the utilities, we have the infrastructure, we have the training available, and we have the land available to make you successful. You should come to Taylor County. And I really embraced that. To give you a sense, if we look at the next several slides, we'll go in order here. 9 separate governors spoke at this conference. So in 4 days, we heard from 2 secretaries, Labor Secretary and Commerce Secretary, word from the US EPA Administrator, and 9 governors. And I've just picked some highlights for that. I promise you, there's never been a governor that only spoke 1 sentence. So don't think that's what happened here. But I did try to draw out some things because at the end, I'm going to put some common themes together, and I think you'll find that interesting. Governor of New Mexico spoke and said, we take a white glove approach to bringing in companies. If you know what that means when you've gone on a tour, and I toured the Hyundai shipyard in South Korea, gave us all white gloves, we put them on, and then they challenge you to find something that's dirty or unclean. So New Mexico says, we're so proud of the way we treat incoming business, that we take a white glove approach. We know what we're good at. We're not good at everything. We're good at logistics, aerospace, defense, energy, and quantum. When you come to New Mexico, they have the needed team already assembled. They already have utilities, tax, legal, permitting. So you're not saying, let me go see if I can find someone to help you. You've already got your team assembled. Provide clear timelines for permitting and power supply. This is something I face, not saying we don't do well, but that I don't know. Sometimes I say, how many permits do I need? How long will it take to get them? And how much will it cost? Going, I need to be better prepared. I need to be better prepared. And he said, there's always gaps, but we work to close them. You look at the next slide, New Jersey spoke. So you notice this wasn't a Republican conference or a Democratic conference. This was a conference on economic development. Everybody put what side of the aisle they sat on aside. New Jersey said our strengths are speed to market. You come here and we'll have you making money in short order. Location and talent. Of course, location and talking about across the river from Manhattan. And talent. And then they have a program there called New Jersey Base, where locations provide rent free to startup or newer international companies. So picture how intimidating it can be to be an international company coming to Taylor County. Well, they've got areas where you go and you don't even pay any rent for a year, so that you're optimized to be successful. Delaware said we're quick, welcoming, and we have well-trained labor. Oklahoma said we focus on the 3 B's: people, power, and permitting. So I think they're again on, we'll get you the workers, we'll get you the power you need, and we'll get you the permits you need in short order. Everybody talks about workforce development. We certainly in Taylor County do as well. In Oklahoma, all permits are issued in 30 days or they're free. So they've made a commitment. In Utah, Utah governor said we focus on family values, workforce, but speed is #1 priority. Regarding speed, he said we take a Sherpa concept. So this would be, think about people who hike out on Mount Everest. Usually a Sherpa goes with them, they do all the heavy lifting. So the climber can focus on getting to the summit. They say we assign a person to each project, and that person will be there from locating their site, permitting their site, constructing their operation, and getting them started up. So they have one-stop shopping the entire time. I think that's sometimes 3 or 4 years. That's the commitment they make there. So to give an example of the effort they've made, he said 6 years ago, it took 242 days to get a gas or oil lease approved. Today it averages 40 days. Regarding their family values, and this is interesting because it's the only state that pointed this out. He said, we know you don't work all the time. So what are you going to do when you're not working? So when you come to Utah, you're not going to have any problems answering what that question is with 6 national parks, and he just rattled them off, but again, you can see everyone's focused on what they're focused on. They're focused on economic development. In North Carolina, the governor spoke and said, we offer permitting assistance for business friendly, and you have a research Triangle Park. You might be locked out. Nebraska said we're friendly, we have the infrastructure you need and the power. Maryland said we're understandable and predictable. Said we may not be the lowest cost, but we don't have any surprise costs. And they're quick, and he said, Greenville University, he said 1 in every 7 people born in Maryland was born in another nation. So a lot of people talk about it, we have it. And Mississippi, I thought this was interesting because this sounds very Mississippi, doesn't it? He said, we have insane executions for people. Said when Elon Musk wanted to bring something to Mississippi, he said it from 7 months after he announced he was up and running. They said that's how they operate in Mississippi. So I'm going to draw a few common themes from it because they certainly apply to us. And I'm not using them as a teaching point saying we don't do any of this well, but I certainly didn't go to be smug and say we do this well. I came to say how can we be better. Committed support. They put people with the project and they stay with the project. Speed to market. They understand it's not when you come to the county, it's when you start making your product in the county that your bottom line starts seeing the return on your investment. having a transparent, clear and understandable process and a focus on workforce development. That's something we're blessed with in Taylor County. I'm gonna go to my next slide. And I'm gonna get to land this plane in Taylor County, but I'll just give you just a few more things. A lot of things on why would anyone invest in the USA? We always focus on what we could do better, what we don't do well. What they kept pointing out is the world regards us as the best place in the world to invest because we have stability, we're a democracy, and we have the rule of law. So if you ever take that for granted, trying to do business in some other countries. Capital markets operate freely and protection of intellectual property. If you have a patent here, it's honored. It may not be honored elsewhere. This is the 15th consecutive year that Select USA had been there, and they added up the announcements that have come as a result of these meetings and said $250 billion in foreign direct investment in the United States that they could directly tie back to the conference. Go to the next slide. The US EPA administrator said, you know, we've been part of the problem in the past. We've been looked at as it's hard to get your permits, hard to get EPA to move, they're slow. And he said, our focus is also to make it easy on foreign investment. And he said, let me give you some examples. He said at EPA, it used to take 8 to 10 years to permit a nuclear reactor. And we all have seen that in our own states as we'd say, well, we'd like to, but we can't get it permitted. He said in November of 2025, they permitted a new nuclear reactor in 8 days. He said, I want to give another example. The Philadelphia shipyard, which is where all the Liberty ships, not all of them, but a lot of the Liberty ships from World War II, we hear about Liberty ships, is kind of the backbone of our merchant marine in World War II. They made hundreds of them in a 3-year period. And it had just gone to kind of nothing, no business there. And Hanwha Company in South Korea bought it 2 years ago and had 7 employees. And now they're making ships there. And they're at 2,000 and said we're on our way to 12,000. So what about Taylor County? Well, while I was there, it's funny, I took 80 business cards. Now that's enough for a 4-day conference. I'm embarrassed to tell you, I ran out 3 days. But everyone I met, Kurdistan, Uzbekistan, Korea, Algeria, Brazil, France, Wales, Vietnam, Japan, and Turkey. These are companies, not countries. Think about that. I met companies from every one of those. Focused on defense, hearing aids, healthcare, hygiene products. Tell more about that in a minute. Pulp and paper and AI applications. And I'll give you an example. We hear AI, and boy, today it's kind of painted good, bad, and ugly. There's a company that is focused on, if you just run an auto shop and you're having a problem you can't fix, they're using artificial intelligence to look at that problem. In other words, I've got a Chevrolet Camaro 1994 model that's making a rumble. And they're just focused on that one thing, that one, we're going to be for automotive. This company in South Korea coming to the US looking for a place to come where they can set up that operation. Now, anywhere that's working on that, you can go, I'm having, my car's making a sweep, mine's making a rumble. It's using the artificial intelligence, which is tying into all the knowledge around the country that's known on vehicles to help you troubleshoot your problem. I thought that was interesting, but that's not what I was there for. So let's go to the next slide. So I am actually going to excerpt something. I sent an email to Michelle Curtis. I believe most of you know Michelle, and she's the treasurer of the TCPA Board of Directors. But I got up, and I'll read it to you in a minute, but y'all can all read it. I got up on, got there Sunday night. Monday morning, I met a gentleman from Turkey. He wanted to talk about coming to Taylor County. What do y'all do for a living? He says, I'm a 4th generation, speaks English better than I speak Turkish, so take that. So we have a plant in Miami-Dade, tissue mill. We convert that tissue into towels, tissue rolls, napkins, different paper grades, make those different products. It's 100% recycled, it's not a pulp mill, don't hear that. And he doesn't want to put a pulp mill in Taylor County. What he does, so they convert those using the equipment his company makes. His company makes the converting equipment that turns big rolls into little rolls. He says, we're in the Miami-Dade market. Now we're trying to figure out how to get into the North Florida, the Atlanta, Mobile, Jacksonville market for a location in Florida to put a converting plant. If it comes, it's gonna be great. If it doesn't come, there will be another one we didn't get. But I want to tell you something, if I hadn't been there, we wouldn't know about it. They weren't picking up the phone and calling us. I met him. So I sent Michelle a note that night. So it just kind of captured the emotion. So I try to read it without getting emotional, but it's like, I just want her to know, I do this, I communicate with my board when I travel. Y'all are paying, y'all are helping pay about $3,500 for this trip to occur. And I want people to know there's a return on the investment. So it's a DC update. I put a lot of other power things going on. I met with a Turkish company this morning that wants to open a tissue towel converting business at West Fraser. They would ship in rolls of tissue from the factory in Miami-Dade and convert them here. They already convert there, but are looking to penetrate the Atlanta, Jackson, Mobile markets and need to be closer. Oh, Michelle, I send a thank you note to every person that gives me a business card when I get back to my room each evening and use that to attach our TCDA brochure to it. One lady from France wrote me right back and said, I'd sat with her at dinner. So then I sent her my thank you note and attached our brochure. She said she'd already reached out to several companies in France that she thought might be interested. You just never know.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm gonna move on. Opportunity Zone 2.0. You've been involved with it. You wrote a letter of support. I appreciate it. The county commissioners wrote us a letter of support. North Florida Economic Development wrote letters of support. At the end, out of the 5 census tracts in Taylor County, we nominated 4 of them for projects. To make sure that our Secretary of Commerce and those people that are around him helping him make these decisions, they give it to the governor and makes the final decision. But you know, Alex Kelly's gonna say, these are our top priorities. I attached a project to every one of them, so it wouldn't just say census tract 0501, census tract 0503, census tract 0506, whatever. But then he'd think, that's Project Blossom. Well, that's Project Renegade. They're working on these projects with Taylor County, and I want to know if they will advantage those areas of our county. Those are projects there that the investor may think, like, you know, I got additional reason to invest my money in Taylor County. So that's where we're at. The ball's now in their court. Of course, they have the process last through the end of the year. These will be designated, you know, there'll be lots turned in and 340 approved. But we're asking for 4. We're Taylor County. I changed the title. I think I've been giving you my list of projects, and I did something different this time, and I'm gonna tell you, I dumped every project off the list if I hadn't heard from them. I don't care if they say they're active, but they can't write an email in 18 months. They're not fooling me, and I'm not gonna try to fool you. So I took all of them off and I started a new list. These are ones I know are active because I'm in regular communication. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is that right? These are 6 active projects. They're not any holdovers, there's probably 6 more that they didn't say were not active, but they're not doing anything. So we've got infrastructure, we've got light industry, we've got aviation. I want to talk about the woods, I'm gonna skip it for a second. We've got defense. So there is several good things looking at Taylor County right now. Got a call a week ago Thursday. I was on my way to Washington on Saturday. On that Thursday, I got a call from Florida Commerce. I was in North Carolina. They said, we got a project. It's got Perry written all over it. $800 billion investment, 165 jobs, 1 million tons a year of wood. I'm gonna have to work for it. And I just turned it in. It was due at 5 o'clock today, and I turned it in at 5 till 4. I have worked nights, weekends, and holidays.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if we'll get it, but we're fighting for it. And Commerce thinks that we're capable of having it. So this isn't when they throw out and say, and I get all these calls, I've never had them say this has got Taylor County written on it. So it felt really good. I feel really, we're off to a good start. They've asked more questions than I've ever had to answer, and I'm gonna give a shout out to John Hart. I guess y'all know, but you call it John nights, weekends, and holidays. He'll answer. EJ Gabar visited today, so I really can't tell you results yet, other than to say that we haven't fallen off the radar screen for Florida Commerce. This guy is responsible for all the counties, the local industry development. We met with two sets of local businessmen today who are looking to see what they can do in Taylor County. So not existing business people want to create a new business, but they already live here. That's pretty exciting. Then we met with local industries that are already growing or expanding, and he has just left at 3:30 this afternoon. And so we will, this is a lot of work going on today with a lot of follow-ups, but I just don't want you to think that we ever take a break. Now let's see if we get this queued up. I think you just gotta click it and see if we can watch this. That is not it. It should double click and. Is it not, did transfer, didn't care?
And it's,
Anyway, well, I will tell you this, there is a City of Perry ad, City of Perry property has an ad, it's paid for by Duke Energy. Lasts about 2 minutes and I will figure out a way to get it to you if this doesn't work.
I think it's an Apple computer and has trouble with.
Okay, it worked on mine, I tell you that, so I gave John credit too quick.
Yeah, always bored.
All right, well, it's not intended to be a black screen, but I don't wanna lose any value by describing it to you. It's something we wanna see on the chance. So in Taylor County, at TCDA and City of Perry, on my last slide. We are relentless. This famous quote from Ferdinand Foch, the commander of the Ninth Army of France at the Battle of the Marne in World War I. You've probably heard it. But I think it just captures, that's not a negative, it's a positive. By the way, they won the Battle of the Marne. But they're asking, what's he gonna do? He said, my right is hard pressed. My center is yielding. Impossible to maneuver. Situation is excellent. I attack. That's what we're doing. What questions do you have? Bill, any from you?
Have any questions?
Okay, the next item on the agenda is council to discuss contract for land on Plantation Road. And council to take any actions deemed necessary.
I'll let Amir talk on that one. I'm dead.
Thank you, John. Thank you for all the council members. So we looked through and we did a test well, and the result for the test wells came out good, and the production came out good. We met with the water management district because we don't want to have any hiccups. They came back and they said there are quite a few wells around the area, and what they want to do is that we have a drawdown, which means once we pump the water out, it draws down the water and then it recovers after a certain period of time. So they are recommending we do what is called some isometers on the edge of the property and test the well pumping and see what effect it has. This is unusual to have that many in the area, but you do. Out of 110 wells in that area within 1 mile, half of them are irrigation, half of them are drinking. So, and all of them are what is called suction pump. So that means they only can pump 20 feet of water. And the water in that area is 18 feet. So there's only small road. This is out of caution, they recommend, because we want to take, before we buy anything, we want to have a cautious approach. We want to, talk to the permitting agency. Typically, we don't do that part, but we had a little bit of all the results in hand, so we went and talked to them today. So our recommendation would be is to do, add those 2 gasometers. We looked at using some other wells, which just don't have enough time. So we want to look at if we can use existing wells, which are around the area. Somebody gives us permission. We have our well, we get, we can pull the water down, 350 gallons a minute, and it has some effect. We want to just test those. I'm not sure we're gonna get any permission from those, because they are very small now. So we may have to do those two. This is going out of the water management district to permit that, they said they'll require that test, so. My recommendation would be if we could get some more time from the seller, we should do those. From the water quality and water standpoint, everything checks out, we have to do treatment, which is understandable. We just want to make sure that water management district is on board, we want to purchase everything. And with the permit application, this is business. Many of those people are on your water system, you still have your water line there. So that's the decision we have to make. We are not tied to your system. That's not the technical our job. So
Are those wells in the vicinity,
within 100 miles, within a mile radius.
within a mile?
It's gonna cost extra.
But we have to do it anyways. Regardless, you will do it now or you will do it later.
So we already had a budget for this.
We have, if I decide we can use some portion of it, I have to go look at it, get a price on it. Regardless, this would be required to do it. We do it now and do it later. So that the question is, you're trying to purchase a property. I'll highly recommend you negotiate with the buyer, seller, buy some time.
We're gonna ask for a 3-month extension. And if they don't give us that 3-month extension, then we'll have to make a decision next meeting. We're gonna go ahead and purchase it without knowing all of the details.
So we'll wait until the next meeting then to.
Yeah, we will ask for the, John is asking for extension, hopefully we get it. So we'll get you.
Decision on that. We'll get back with the report.
Yes, the report, we already, I think the report is already sent out,
Yeah.
so. No surprises, we have to do treatment, we were ready for it.
Yeah.
I'll answer this question.
Is the. Oh, they will recall. For sellers. Is there any relationship between the attorney and this individual selling it?
I don't know,
Just happen to have the same name?
I don't know anything about it.
Oh, you meant former attorney Ray Curtis?
What?
You mean the former city attorney Ray Curtis?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely, yes. So we don't know that. You know what's interesting about this? I don't know who prepared this document, but it's a piece of land. And we put $10,000 on it to hold it. And if they find that that piece of land is not suitable, when they do the due diligence, we lose the $10,000. That's real bright, real bright.
We had to offer something to hold it for 6 months so we can do the due diligence.
And who's the guy?
Karen.
JH.
Is it Karen?
What is it?
So-
She said, who's the, yes.
Karen.
It's Karen.
It's JH.
I signed it on behalf of the city. The city's the buyer.
She won't know who to sell.
The seller is Karen Curtis.
And I see it. Said the guy is JH. So. No relation.
So.
No relation between Ray and Karen Curtis. Confirmed by Ray's mother.
Okay. That's confirmed by, you would know better than you.
So you going to ask the.
Thank you for your report.
Thank you.
Look forward to maybe doing something next, hopefully.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda was the clock camera. We had hoped to have a representative here to give a presentation, but we don't have one, so, and the chief is not here. So do we have anybody in the audience that wanted to speak against or speak about the clock camera? Okay, if not, we'll move on to agenda item D6D.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
These cameras are already up around and about.
Yes, sir.
Who authorized that?
Hmm.
That's a decision of the city council.
We haven't bought them, they're just up.
That's not the question.
Well,
If someone is going to take the responsibility of this council and run it their way, they don't need us and we don't need them.
Totally agree.
welcome back, John. Yeah,
He never left, he was just quiet.
he wasn't here for me. That was the reason I brought it to the council, is because it's on the 5-year plan. And it's also for this fiscal year. It's never authorized.
John, we want to speak to that.
I'll look into it, get back to y'all.
Well, I certainly don't have any answer for that.
Okay.
It was something they wanted to try out. It's not a done deal, even though the cameras are up, it's not a done deal. I don't even know if they're working yet or not.
No, they are working, because he said that it actually was instrumental in the return of someone recently.
Yeah. I don't think it was the problem with it being up, I think it is what Councilman Ahmed on Brian's problem was who gave permission. That's what he said.
I understand.
Well, it should have came before the council.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
agree, they were ever put up.
I agree.
Real question is how many other tasks are employees, including John, doing without the council's knowledge or permission?
I don't have an answer.
Based on the next agenda.
So we're gonna pass on that and we'll look at it hopefully at the next meeting. Let's go on to item 6D. Council to discuss the CDBG-DR grant administration selection and council to take any actions deemed necessary. I can't read my own.
This is the one we had to CERCAP, ranked the,
Oh, that's of the scoring committee.
yes. They did a pretty thorough job of ranking everybody. Based on information and experience, key staff qualifications and experience, proposed approach and project management style, quality of projects and response from firms references, certified minority women-owned business, and proposed fee schedule. I believe Alvin Solutions was the highest ranked with a 92.
It's going to be administrative.
Grant admin portion of the CDBG DR. Like the next closest was 75 points, so a pretty big margin for Alvin Solutions.
I don't know what we're supposed to do.
You wanna go with the highest rate fund, just make a motion for us to enter I guess that'd be contract negotiation, or just, enter contract negotiations with the highest ranked firm.
Open solutions,
Obviously.
okay. If you need to do anything,
Somebody needs to make a motion so I can move forward.
that you're gonna contact them. Y'all hear a motion?
We have to hire somebody, because I'm already falling behind on the paperwork. It's built into the grant. Their fee is.
They have great CDBG experience. George is not for it and wastewater. Most of our grants. How many grants do we have this wastewater?
2 of these are wastewater and 1's water.
The experience is not in that.
That's what my problem comes in.
That's, I wouldn't even worry about that. You need their experience in the CDBG paperwork and all that. Engineers are gonna handle the water wastewater side of it. You need CDBG admin experience. It doesn't matter what type of project.
Nice.
For recommendation or
Albert had the highest ranking at 92. Second best was 75. I recommended following Surcat's recommendation. So we got him in here to do this for.
what's the recommendation?
To enter contract negotiations with Ovid Solutions.
I wanna read it. Where is it?
Read the RFP. Or the,
I've got some number of forms here. Scored. Where's the recommendation? That committee scored.
that's their score. Let's show their total score for each proposer. Proposer A with O'Brien's 53. Optimum Consulting 34, Bay Media 59, Outsourced Execs 59. Eco Stratus Service 75, DSR 72, Ovid Solutions 92, ELOS Environmental 54, and the final one, All Moral of 70.
John, would we ever forward this information? And I'm gonna call it an application. Don't they? Or was everything given to Thursday?
Everything's given to Surcat.
So we didn't have any information. Maybe that's. That's one, just.
What is the pleasure of this council in dealing with this situation?
What's the situation?
Whether to offer the contract to Ovid Solutions or not, whether to offer the contract to Ovid Solution or not. They were the ones with the high score.
High score doesn't mean the best score. That's why you gotta have a recommendation for somebody. It says we don't select.
Surcat's
Who
recommendation,
select. I select different one.
Surcat's recommendation was Ovid Solutions.
Did we set up a committee to do the work?
So Captain came in here, sat right here in this room and reviewed all of them.
Okay.
About 8 hours.
If we appointed a committee to do the work, then we need to accept their recommendation.
That's what I would recommend.
Motion that we accept the issues.
Second.
Please come Serkian's recommendation.
Councilmember Bronze,
No,
Councilmember Hanson,
Yes.
Councilmember Woodball,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry,
Yes. Okay, item 6C, if the council is to discuss a 5-year capital program and the council to take any action deemed necessary.
There's been no changes since the last meeting.
I still have a question. Why do we have $61,000 for block cameras? Yeah, like we've already paid for it, so I don't understand what's going on, John. You know, sure that, yeah. Page.
Yeah, we're going first aid.
Right.
it's not current budget.
So we haven't paid for this? Have we not paid?
We haven't paid anything for block camera.
Yes.
That's on the capital plan.
But this fiscal year,
My knowledge, we're not paying anything for block cameras.
I may be wrong, but I thought when we discussed these cameras, they were only around the school. And now we got them.
You're talking about the speed cameras.
That's two different issues.
No, he's correct. When we discussed cameras, it was never anything about a flock camera. It was always
That's
the
true.
school system.
That's true.
that was a two contract. So in the next meeting, John, you can explain to us what's going on. And why it was not brought before the council.
So
We don't need to take any action on this 5-year plan tonight. We're wait. Here. What John can tell us next week or next time. Okay, let's go on then to 6F is the ordinance 1060 introduction and first reading of the ordinance.
I'd like to move these next 3 to the next agenda when Ward's here. We have a full council to discuss the incentive package. Just a little bit of discussion. I sent y'all email and Hope as well. The contract they kind of wrote up was different than the way I understood it in the meeting 2 weeks ago. The way I understood it, they wanted 10 years start now and it ended in 10 years. And the contract they wrote up, any new phases, a new 10-year period would start. That's not the way I understood us talking about it.
No.
But I was making sure I thought I wasn't losing my mind.
So, that's how 15 years, so
Who prepared this? For this ordinance,
That's just the ordinance to authorize the contract. That's not the actual contract.
1560.
That's the ordinance to rescind the old one.
Yeah, I prepared,
Do that.
I prepared it.
I'm gonna tell you what's wrong with it. And I want everybody to listen. I'm fixing to practice law. Ma'am. Back at, probably ordinance 1011. We told someone, we're gonna do this for you, and they agreed. Here we are now. We say we don't agree anymore. Where do they say they accept that? They don't. And they need to, they got to.
Right,
We'll be in more trouble than we get out of.
the agreement, not, well, their proposed agreement that Mr. Hart is attached. The reason why I also is saying let's take it off of the calendar, because nothing should be rescinded until there is an agreement. So we're not gonna lift what we said that we would go forward with unless there's something to supplement or just something.
I'm talking about the tax. I'm talking about, ordinance 1011.
Yes, sir.
The city agreed. And whoever these people are, they agreed. They agreed, city agreed to give them $1 million. That's the facts. $1 million worth of stuff. 500,000 gallons of water. 500,000 gallons of sewer. I don't know what the gas is, if there's gas, but there is or isn't.
There is no gas.
No gas.
In the original.
In the original resolution, there was.
Not
gas,
in
not the-
ordinance 1011 that's addressed in the ordinance you're referring to. There was no gas,
There's no
but
water,
back in
sewer.
2016, that had been a consideration.
Is that the one that's got 500,000 gallons of?
That was the resolution that was rescinded by ordinance 1011.
Anyhow. This thing needs to have that, whoever they are. On here. That they accept. Accept what we're taking away.
That's kind of why it never really should have been done by ordinance. So I mean, that's not the proper tool for ordinance.
It's just like I went down and bought a car. And they took it away just for the heck of it.
They agreed to it verbally when they came here.
Or
They agreed to it verbally when they came here.
all puffy.
They wanted,
Well, this wouldn't be appropriate this time because there hasn't been any agreement. At this time, that's why we're taking off nothing should be rescinded, but the 2022 ordinance that required 344 units for the tax incentive. When the Prospect property owners showed up last meeting, they asked that it be reduced to 160 units to be given a 10-year incentive divided in, by the way, the equation is in that agreement. And so that was what the presentation was
That's
last.
a
last meeting.
corporation. Have they got power to sign for that corporation?
They do, but we have not.
You got it?
We've not agreed to their terms because we agreed, the council has stated and voted for a 10-year incentive at 160 units.
Yeah.
With proof that they would reinvest in the present phase, the amount that they're given in rebate. and that they would give an annual report showing that they actually took the amount they reinvested and how they put it back into the phase. The agreement, and we were told to go back and look at it, working on agreement. The proposed agreement that then the corporation sent John had it attached to 10 years incentive for every unit that's created beyond this, so up to 15 years, which is not what we agreed to. So that's why you're correct, this ordinance 1560 is premature. We have not come up with an agreement to rescind anything yet. Because what they sent is different than what was agreed to by the city. It's different than what the city agreed to. They're trying to have it where it's based on each unit, and that'll be an administrative nightmare. So if they come and say 10 more units, 5 years from now, they want each, we have to keep up with every
I'm
one.
not concerned about the taxes. I'm concerned about 500,000 gallons of free water and sewer.
That was done away with.
There's no.
There is until you take it away,
Ordinance 1011.
and they agree.
Ordinance 1011 took that away. It rescinded the resolution.
Very first.
Taylor
I've
Brown,
been in this for a long time. It's called my old. I have yet to be on the third floor of that courthouse. And if somebody doesn't fix these documents with their signature agreeing, we'll all be up there.
So, Councilmember Brian, so I make sure I understand, you feel like whatever terms have been stated in the past, even if there was some ordinance or resolution rescinding that we need the participating property owner to agree that this term no longer applies, this term no longer applies. You want to make it very clear that there's no expectation that the city will act in any way that's been negotiated in the past.
I want them to agree to it. That's.
Even though the ordinance has been rescinded.
Well, Ms. Dempsey, you will prepare that document.
We will look at that, because also what a part of the city, what the action the city is also doing is that they've not met any of those requirements. So you all have lowered 344 units to 160 units. So there's been an exchange of bargaining because of that, and I'm hearing Councilmember Bryan says because, and I hope I'm following, because of that 2022 ordinance that rescinded all the previous contracts, and the owner even came up here and said, we were told to take it or leave it. Remember that discussion? That there was no necessarily input from what they agreed to? Then I'm hearing, Councilmember Bryan saying that he wants it, or we need to explicitly state that they agree that they are not owed 500,000 this, they're not owed this, they're not, whatever seemed to be sort of languishing out in past actions by the council.
Yeah, another thing here, I'm on G, looking at G, incentive package. We're only talking about taxes, where's the rest of the package?
That's the only package is the rebate. No longer anything attached to the gas utility. They don't even use gas utility appliances in,
Are you serious?
they did not follow
No,
that
they didn't
aspect,
follow that
which I did.
guideline.
I did note that when we
Yeah.
first started talking about this.
And that's the incentive to get them here so we can.
I don't disagree. The council decided that there was a sense that because they still could make good on building more units. And if they reinvested whatever rebate was offered, that would still be something that would serve the public interest, but there's no longer attached any gas utility.
After reading the text of memo what the teacher says, I'm beginning to wonder if they're trying to, I don't know what term to use, but it's like they're trying to mess over the council. But we're not going for it. They want to change from 15 years, then they want to, want the incentive package to start every time they complete a unit. The original agreement was 10 years for 344 apartment buildings. So, I mean, units.
The
So
original
I
resolution,
think we need to bring them back and,
the original resolution that Bob Brown made with them was only tied to 130 units, I believe.
yeah, but
So yeah, I agree with Bill a little bit. We promised them this. The first deal, and then Taylor Brown went and changed it on them to 344 units. And now we're trying to fix it.
well,
Because it's been for,
if they're going to receive consent for 10 years, I think they should at least tell us how many more units that we should expect out of there. That's my thing.
But it is 15 years when they were here, they agreed to 10.
Did you see what was on?
Yeah, I do.
I don't know. It's sad.
In a way, that's shame on us. Because we should have been watching. Be sure the gas went in that place.
I think what,
If you would have looked up on the old internet, you'd have found out who owns that. You won't find out now because they took it off.
Well, he died.
Hmm?
He died.
No,
Yes, he did.
no,
She was here last time and then her husband had died.
I didn't say anything about a husband.
No, he's saying
I was saying somebody.
That was the owner.
I think what happened back then, Bill, was it was during the time with COVID, it had all three of these hurricanes. So it kind of risked them up pretty bad. So I think we took that into consideration. So
there are there are three significant dates. This first came up when City Manager Hart said the initial agreement was like 120 units. That was resolution 2016-20. That was negotiated in November 8th, 2016, 4 years before COVID. There was an amount that was promised to them that the city would pay. Then there was a resolution 2017-06 that was negotiated, or the council voted on August 22, 2017. That was another different amount that the city was going to pay for these units, including gas and different things. Back on December 13th, and then there was something that expired in 2016, but that just had to do with entirely all the different business incentives that you all created or the city council created. And then in 2022, that big resolution or ordinance of 1011 says we are scrapping that those 2016, 2017 contracts and agreements. And this is how we're gonna go forward now with 344 units. And that incentive was for 10 years. And or that the incentive will continue and they're due to expire if the units were not created next year. I think next May, I don't remember the date.
March, I think,
What is it?
it was March.
March. Most likely, there's no way that they're gonna be able to complete over, what is it, almost 180 more units by next year. So we could have just kept what we had and it expired. And what was asked is that, given the climate of all the hurricanes and all the slowdown of the opportunities for business to recover, that they would like a tax incentive without meeting that 344 unit burden. But the obligation for the city to pay them certain money, the obligation for there to be gas utilities, all that seemed to fall by the wayside. Then when they started actually constructing, when I say it seemed, they created nothing with gas. They created nothing with gas. And so when they presented at the last meeting, the biggest discussion was whether or not you all would accept at what they currently have, which is 160 units, to allow them to start the rebate now. They stated it's their intention to build more units, but they could not promise and wanted to have that part removed from the agreement, that they would complete a phase 2. They're looking for funding to be able to justify that. But what they did say is that they could provide and have been providing fee waivers, rent concessions, they're reinvesting in the phase 1, and that whatever rebate they got, they would put in the agreement that they're required to basically show and report every year that whatever rebate, whatever money was refunded to them through the rebate, that they actually put it in to the building of or the benefit of phase 1. They did even note, like, they have rents that start at $1,200 to $1,600. And that they were giving certain people $400, off for the first 4 months and different things of that nature. And they said they'll be willing to give an annual accounting of whatever those rebates and reinvestments were. But it was asked several times about the intentions or the ability to hold them to building more things out. There was no discussion when they were here regarding the gas concessions, because again, the 160 units that have already been created have no gas attachment.
That's a violation of the contract right there. Bill, if that ordinance that you're talking about, original, the time has expired on it, wouldn't that exonerate us?
It's just safety. Yeah, it's expired and you may have to fight your way over it at courthouse. If you agree and they agree, you got a better chance.
So verbally they agreed, but I guess we need to get it in
Yeah.
line.
Yes.
When you give water concessions for anybody, all what you're giving them is the cost to run that farm. When you give somebody concession of gas, you're giving them the cost to operate the department plus the cost of the gas. It can be a big disaster.
Well, they didn't take our offer on that, so. Okay.
I don't see anything about a water incentive. Back in 2022,
It was in the 2016 resolution, 500,000 gallons of water is used in common areas.
I was talking about the most recent. The ordinance 1011 dealt with gas and a tax rebate. No water. Did not deal with any water.
So we'll postpone any action on this until the steps you can attempt to get an agreement with them on what we've discussed.
Okay,
And then I guess we bring it back and vote on it next time.
yes, so. Again, to just note, basically the 2016 and 2017 terms or agreements are dead, and that they agreed that there's no obligations under those agreements. And in agreement 101, that it has been amended to reflect a lower number of houses to receive the tax rebate. And that it no longer includes a gas utility. It no longer include a monetary incentive regarding the use of natural gas. So that's what I'm hearing, that you want it compiled, that every party is in agreement to even.
We want them to agree that they're not gonna hold us to the original.
Okay.
Okay.
John, is there anything else that do you understand what he's asking or what they're asking?
And we need to get them to agree to what we agreed on that night when they were here, the 10 years and not 15.
I'm a little bit on Bill's side about, I don't wanna be in the courthouse either on the third floor, because in 2016 resolution, the first thing we ever discussed with them, it was a minimum of 120 units, and the city signed it and said we would do all this stuff. And they've met that, we haven't done any of it.
John, what you don't understand is during that time, people, we didn't know whether it was gonna happen or what. They dropped the ball, the city of Perry did not. So when Taylor brought it back to us, we were excited. I don't know why you keep going back to the first.
They did reach it in with the time they were given, but
That was the one thing, that's the incentive package that got them here to start building. That's what the city agreed to on November of 2016. And they've done their 160 units, and we said a minimum of 120.
But they agreed on the last school, John.
And they didn't work, give them a choice.
Well, it's still agreed.
They didn't, and they didn't, like he said, they didn't sign that ordinance, we did. We went back on our deal and made it an ordinance and made the deal harder to get.
Well, 2016 is better.
But they were here, the owner was here and agreed to it. He was here in a meeting and said he agreed to it.
Exactly, on the record. So we need to. 2016 is, okay. Done.
If they don't ever come up with a new package, they're not getting anything. That's gonna sunset in March of 2027. Last meeting, we agreed to give them something. I think we need to write back the contract the way we all understood it. It starts this year, it's for 10 years, first 5, 100%, last 5, 75%. If you want to renegotiate something else for the next phase, maybe we'll do that down the road, but this is what we said we're gonna do, and this is what we're gonna do.
When is the sunset? What's the
March,
date?
you have that ordinance, March 27th, March of 2027.
If any more discussion on this issue? We don't need to do 6G because
Yeah, GRA.
that is in city package, you're not ready to vote on that. Or 6H, I guess.
I think this is the correct way to do it. We have an incentive package with them, and then we're gonna do a resolution to approve that package.
Do what?
I think this is the more correct way to do it than doing an ordinance, how we did in the past. We're gonna have a package with them, and then we're gonna have a resolution to approve that contract, pretty much.
I agree. Okay. Well, let's move on to item 6I, the ordinance 1059 for public hearing and final read. I need to read that here.
It just,
It's an ordinance for the city of council of the city of Perry. What did I say? Yeah. Taylor County, Florida, amending chapter 50, utilities of the code of ordinances, amending sections 50-21 and 50-22 related to utility billing due dates, penalties, and notice of termination, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
kind of read.
Yeah, that's the final reading on that. So, guess we need to. Have a
Here, that. Gentlemen, expect here,
This is just changing the due date to the 20th, right?
yes.
Yeah. He was here.
Yeah.
have a motion, do we have a second?
Councilmember Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Hampton.
Yes.
Councilmember Woodball,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry.
Yes. Item 6J, resolution 2026-19 budget amendment, demolition budget. A resolution of the sixth council amending the budget of the city of Perry, Florida for the fiscal year October 1, 2025 through September 30, 2026.
We ran out of money in the demolition budget. We have 3 that are ready to demo right now. I'm asking that we go ahead and try to get 1 into this budget. We keep making progress. I'm gonna try to add more money to the demolition budget for next year. This just goes ahead and gets us to demo 1 that's ready to go out of 3 we have waiting.
John, in your past, the council used to be aware or be well informed of what's going on in code enforcement. I know we have homes, I know in my district, they should have been done 20 years ago. I'm just wondering how long are we giving these people who's on the list now? Demolition.
Be much better question for her.
Yes, most of the property or all the properties that have been on the demolition list, I think there's been 6 or 7 since I've been city attorney, have had well over, I mean, like multiple years to come into compliance. And most of the time they're also a structured hazard. And it's, the Board of Adjustment as well as the zoning board, or the Board of Adjustment, agenda that goes out, it does list properties that there may be a review for demolition. Or even in the case of trailers, removal or doing something else with them. And so I guess that's how the notices have been going out to the council. Do you all get those agendas?
Yeah.
And maybe I'm not answering your question, I was just asking, but that's what.
So they've been given years.
They've been given years,
Okay.
because there's not really been a lot of action, as we remember, for a while, there was no code enforcement hearings. So no, they've been given years, I can't tell you exactly how many all of them have been given, but they've been extraordinarily long in the situation. Before they're placed on that list. Do you have a suggested measure on what you want?
Yes, I would like to know who's on the list for demolition. Maybe from the first time. They received the notice. I get these questions of why. Except what they have. So if I'm informed, I get better informed my constituents. Thank you.
So, yeah, so you like a list of the homes that have been noted for demolition, that they've been given notice and been before the Board of Adjustments, correct?
But really, I would like to know when someone is first noticed. Not after you, not you.
I understand, I'm just trying to,
Well, we've given them so many times. And we're bringing them back to a couple of first man. It used to be, they stayed on the list, they went before the magistrate. And she gave them the time limit. So, guessing make it different now.
no, all the properties that have been dealt with in demolition, they've already had hearings with the code enforcement. So there was no skipping over their initial violations and opportunity to come into compliance. And so because of budget and also there just hadn't been an active pursuit of demolition, they've just been there, we have probably a long list that could be demolished, so what I can do, if it would be helpful, we can even ask maybe code enforcement Griffin to come to the next meeting or to get on an agenda to explain the demolition process. I know that, Mr. Hart, has asked me to follow up on some properties that are glaringly troublesome, just even, if we need to start making exceptions and looking at foreclosures as well as cleanup and demolition in the city. So, we are trying to come up with a process, because usually I don't think there's a rhyme or reason why some properties get demolished and others don't. I just think probably whoever has the highest number of complaints and have like a long history. I mean, there's nothing written in the land development regulations that says this has to be demolished.
We're talking about 2619.
Yes.
I will offer the motion to fund that at 18,000 rather than 6. Let's get them going.
Hold on. You know what the total was? For the three, it wasn't right, it was a little off, 18, like.
Yeah. You'll have a second?
Hold on just a second, y'all gonna do that?
That's 6. He wants to go to 18.
It doesn't matter when you do it. You're gonna, the money's coming from the same place, no matter whether you do it today or 6 months.
Well, you said put it in the budget. Sometime.
At least if we have the money available at the time, we can go ahead and get it done and I'll
Second.
worried about it.
I'll be working. Sure.
Okay. I have a motion and a second.
John wants to make sure.
What?
Hold on just a second. Probably fine. Make it 20 so I can cover all three of them, because it's a little bit higher than 18 for all three of them.
I get 20. I get 20. John said we could make it 20 instead of 18.
It's fine, yeah,
Seven.
yeah,
There we have a motion and a second.
Councilmember Grimes,
yes.
Councilmember Hampton,
Yes.
Councilmember Woodfall,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry,
Yes.
Eric Kitchen.
Okay, item 6K. A resolution number 2026-20, a budget amendment for the FDOT grant. A resolution of the city council amending the budget of the city of Perry, Florida for the fiscal year October 1, 2025 through September 30, 26.
John. If you look at this first one, Arch Street. It's total project funds. Local funds, 50,000, state funds. Go to another one.
They messed those, is that the contracts?
There's no local funds in there.
They messed it up. The total project is that number plus 50,000. They just didn't.
Well,
Yeah,
okay,
and they all gonna have to have the 50,000 local match. They just didn't get it in their contract, but the state number's right.
Motion.
Second.
Councilmember Bronze,
Yes.
Councilmember Hampton.
Yes.
Councilmember Woodhull.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry.
Yes.
Mayor Kitchens absent.
Item 6L, the council to discuss, well, we just decided to wait on that, but plans to evaluate, because we don't have them all in yet, so when we get them in, we'll discuss them. Okay, so I have item 6M, is approval of the minutes amended for April 14th.
Motion.
For the regular session. Have a motion. Second. Have a second.
Councilmember Bronze,
Yes.
Councilmember Hampton.
Yes.
Councilmember Woodhull.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry.
Yes.
Mayor Kitchens absent.
Approval of the minutes for April the 28th, regular session. I have a motion. No. Motion, do I have a second? Have a second.
Councilmember Bronze.
Yes.
Councilmember Hampton.
Yes.
Councilmember Woodhull.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry.
Yes.
Mayor Kitchens absent.
That concludes our items on our agenda. John, do you have any report, anything you want to talk about?
Matt Smith is basically, that's it. What is he, Lieutenant? Lieutenant Smith is retiring from the PPD, and he's asked to retain his service weapons. The council normally approves when an officer retires that they can keep their service weapon.
I'm sorry, I can't hear what you're saying.
Lieutenant Smith is retiring from the police department,
Oh.
and he's requested to keep his service pistol. The council normally approves that they get to keep their service pistol.
How many years of service?
With us, he had a little over 7 altogether. He had right at 30. He was with Tampa Police Department for over 20 years before he moved north.
What do we need to do?
Just a consensus that he can keep his service pistol. I don't think it needs to be a motion, but just a consensus that he can keep his service pistol.
Have anything else?
I mean, y'all got a their consensus. Haven't heard any yes or no.
Sorry,
Haven't heard anybody say yes or no that he can keep his service pistol.
okay.
Somebody has to say yes.
Yes.
I guess go vote. I think 3 of them.
Okay, yes. How many do we have now?
I'm sorry.
She said, how many do we have now?
Can't hear back here.
The steps, you have anything?
No.
Any other staff members have anything? Okay. Miss Shirley, do you have anything?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank everybody for coming. Meeting is adjourned.
If he knows I'm separate.
Contract.
Very.